Hello and welcome to a new episode of the MTG Arena Run. Today we are now going to be proceeding to yet another quick constructed, and we're now going in with Boros Assault. Now, hopefully you've checked the pre-mortem, but as a quick summary, this is an even more aggressive deck than the Legion of Dust deck that I played last time, and I'm expecting the games to be very fast. Now, I'm hoping that they're very fast and that I win. But we shall see. Will I actually get more than one win this time? Or will I, even worse, hit 0-3? Let's see. I'm not gonna... Not that I've ever pronounced my opponent's handles, but I'm not going to start with this opponent. So let's see how we do. Let's see why the game is taking a while to load. Oh, okay, there you go. Now, the country where I live in, actually even the house I live in, the internet quality is not that great. We're making by as it is, though. I would definitely say that the internet quality we have here is so-so. Just like this hand, at least we got a few decent plays, so we'll keep this. So sometimes whenever I see a lag spike or there's a long delay, I'm usually very scared. This is especially true for Magic the Gathering Online, because if I hit a lag spike there, that means I'm playing at a disadvantage against the clock. So right now we got the start that we wanted, so we can hit quite early. We can get a few buffs. We can clear one threat. It's just a question of what deck our opponent's playing. And if you've noticed that I played 3 decks that contain... This is the 3rd deck that I played that's containing white. The white element is basically a split of aggro and control, so generally the second color dictates what's the strategy that's going to happen. So I'm going to cast this now. See if our opponent counters it. If our opponent has a counter, I'd rather see him use it up. It'll be a shame if our opponent has a bounce spell, but at least we get a 1/1 token for our troubles. Our opponent is cycling. Generally, I like it when I see the opponent cycling very early. Cycling is a nice card filtering mechanic. If you have cards that are good but for some reason are not that applicable, you can just cycle them away, hope to get a better card. So I'm expecting a cancel from this guy, which is quite okay. I'd rather he cancel the Ant Crop Crasher now rather than cycle one of my removal spells when I actually need it. Also, a cancel here means I get to attack for even more I get to attack out in the clear. Opponent's deciding whether it's worth canceling it now. Right now, our opponent is at 17 life. If he doesn't counter this and he doesn't do anything, I'm going to be hitting for 7. As you can see, this is just basically my 3rd turn, and I could potentially cut his life total in half. Oh, there's the cancel. Well, Essence Scatter. That's an interesting with counters. You kind of want them to play them early so that you don't have to worry about them hitting the threats you actually want. But in the case of the Boros deck, you want your threats to stick early because you are playing on a clock, so to speak. Now, our opponent is incentivized to answer either of our threats. A bounce spell would be decent, a decent answer, I suppose. So right now I'm incentivized to just keep hitting. If I draw any more creatures, I'm not in any real hurry. Right, but right now our opponent is thinking really hard. He hasn't played a land yet. He's figuring out what his next strategy, what his overall strategy is going to be. I guess you can say that people have always made the comparison that Magic the Gathering is chess with only half the information. Sure, you get more information if you know each other's decks, but here in Magic Arena, it's pretty much completely blind. So I guess it's okay. And even if you know the deck list, you don't exactly know what cards your opponent has. Sure, it's open information if there's absolutely no cards or no way for anyone to cast anything. So right now our opponent is really tanking. Okay, he's played his 4th land. I guess he's trying to signal that he has settled the wreckage. So I'm just gonna play my 4th land. I'm going to attack anyway. If he can't settle the wreckage, it gets me 2 lands, and all it does is wipe my cheap threats. And there's no... Ooh, that's interesting. So let's see. He's gonna block the token. I am gonna cast out. Because right now so our opponent does have several flash creatures. I'll keep whether that's his only flash creature or I could expect any more. Now I have to take note that the puncturing blow that we have. Ooh. So our opponent's playing white, blue, and red, or as it's colloquially known, Jeskai. So I'm gonna play my land. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I am going to play the Trial of Solidarity. 5, 6, 7. Let's... At the very least, it baits a counter. Nope. Opponent doesn't counter. We don't have enough to win the game just yet. And settle the wreckage now. Slightly backbreaking. Yep. There it is. So I am going to get basics. Gonna get 1 mountain and 1 plains. So it's slightly backbreaking, but it's not completely over. Now take note, our opponent has not played a big threat. Okay, now he is digging for cards. And let's see, he's currently at 6 mana. 1 more land means he can eternalize. So I don't want to cast I don't want to use Puncturing Blow. He has a Crook of Condemnation, but I have no recursion, so that doesn't mean much. So here's the interesting thing. He's down to 1 card. I am going to play... I'm going to run out all my spells now. If he has a second settle... And the reason I'm doing that's because he doesn't have any counter magic up. My main concern is that he has a second settle the wreckage. So we'll see what our opponent does. So... we definitely want to clear the way. So here's and right now our opponent actually... Okay, so our opponent just chucks a card. He has 2 cards in hand. I am really concerned if he has he needs to drop another creature. I'm going to cast a puncturing blow. So our opponent is slightly incentivized to counter. He wants to have a blocker up. At the very least, he wants to take out the combat celebrant. There, he has to counter. He's still holding up mana for Settle the Wreckage, but I have to run into it, I suppose. So, going. Also, a nice thing is that by so I'm definitely gonna exert both of them. So our opponent's down to 70. He's incentivized to what do you say? Yeah, he's incentivized to block one of my creatures. Definitely the combat celebrant. Well, the interesting thing is he takes, unless he can answer both of these creatures, I win. So I don't know if you can tell from my voice, but I am getting a bit giddy on over this. I just might be able to take a win. Okay. So we can exert again. So is this lethal? I'm not. It is lethal. We got our first win. And this one took a little bit longer, but do note that our opponent has been removing some of our stuff. Cash that in. Let's play another game. I'm guessing at this rate we're going, we might be able to get 4 games in. So hopefully I win one more game so that it's not a complete wash. Though right now I'm a bit scared. My opponent. Okay. We have a baffling end that's gonna be stranded, but that's okay. We have several 2-drops that we can play. We'll keep this one. And our opponent's actually playing tap lands too. So this, well, it's very possible our opponent's both playing tap lands and lands like Glacial Fortress. Okay. Opponent's definitely a token strategy. This is a very good card to hit with Baffling End, but unfortunately I did not draw the white mana I need. So definitely gonna cast Neff Crop Entangler first. If our opponent doesn't swing in with the Anointer Priest, I am going to exert. This is not great. I definitely need one more land. At the very least, I want to Baffling End the Champion of Wits, because that guy is so annoying when he eternalizes. Speaking of which, our opponent is able to discard 2 cards with Embalm. So I am in real trouble right now. So let's cast Battlefield Scavenger first. I'm definitely gonna exert, because that allows me to... Let's see, which card will I rather drop? I don't know, I have to drop the Puncturing Blow. That one's gonna take a while. Did not draw a land, so... Okay. So... No, I want to take out the Champion of Wits first. That one's gonna take quite a while. In hindsight, I probably could have taken an Anointer Priest, but I do have Magma Spray. So what I could do is, if I draw a Plains, just one white source. I definitely want, and I really need one right now. Nope, it's a red source. It's not too bad. tempted to take note, our opponent is 1 mana away from eternalizing the Adorned Pouncer, so that's yet another problem. I really need my white source ASAP. So now, do I cast Combat Celebrant or do I first exchange? I'm gonna go for the exchange because I'm really digging for mana. So I'm gonna discard the Gust Walker. Still did not draw planes. So let's wait for him to block. You know what? I'll be glad to get rid of that too. Right now, this is essentially a loss. This is the one scenario you do not want to see as an aggressive deck. You're getting left behind in mana. You're getting left behind in board presence. I could cast haste on Crop Crasher. It's only gonna trade with a token though. I could just cast a Combat Celebrant just to block the 4/4. Or I could likewise just block the Regal Caracal with that. That a cat is fine too. So, but I am not pleased with the scenario I'm in right now. Opponent is at 6 mana. He's incentivized to just eternalize and then bomb his cats. Yes, I am going to trade. It's not gonna work against your 4/4 double striker anyway once it comes out. Ooh, this is even worse. So this is another this is an interesting direction. This is just white-blue without the control elements, but it's essentially just it's essentially just white-blue advantage via and bomb. I'm gonna play this out a little bit, but essentially this is a lost game. I'm going to I'm going to exert. I'm not going to trade with Sacred. I'm not going to trade with a Sacred Cat that's just going to come back. So I want to discard. Yeah, let's discard this Honored Crop Captain. Color screwed. Well, of course you trade with a cat. There. Guess not. So, opponent can just swing for the win at this point. 5, 10, 14. Exchanges. I'm definitely taking 12 damage. Nope. That's game over. Yep, even if I'm still alive at 1, there is no way I'm catching up. That's a good game. And I never drew the white mana. Our opponent probably thinks... No. If we were playing a mono red deck, we would have been able to play on everything we had. Definitely. Opponent knows we were definitely color screwed that time. So 1 win, 1 loss, very fast game. Let's try another. Let's go once more into the breach. Depending on how long this game takes up, I might actually just... No, I'm actually... If I win, I'm definitely gonna pause, so pause the gameplay from there. At least the next video would have a little... I'm actually thinking, is it okay to post a video that has exactly just 1 game? That's something I'm quite curious of. Anyway, let's think about that later. We definitely have our colors. We definitely have our early plays. Interesting late play. So we're also gonna get a Laketras Monument. What we could do with this guy is we can just cast one of our 2-drops on our turn 3. Cast Laketras Monument. Hopefully we draw another white source. There. Ask and ye shall receive. If only that happened earlier. So I'm going to cast the Steward of Solidarity. I want to start producing tokens. I could just attack straight up, but as it is, the monument is right now incentivizing me to go for a slightly long-term game. I'm definitely gonna need all the tokens I can get because now, yeah, this is the card I wanted to put in the Legion's deck. So definitely have an Excellence Binding, but I don't want to use it. So we have several options, but okay, hear me out here. I can cast Gustwalker, play a Cartouche. No, let's save that for later. I am not incentivized to attack at this point. I am incentivized to make blockers. So we definitely have all the gas we want. It's just a question of what do we do with it. Okay. We could just Excellence Binding the Legion Lieutenant too, although we know that is not permanent. So we're taking chip damage at this point. Actually, we can afford to take chip damage. Say I cast Gustwalker and I cast Cartouche of Solidarity. No, I could also just cast Angel of Condemnation. Our opponent, if our opponent's gonna remove it, it's gonna remove it anyway, so be it. I'd rather it get removed earlier. Yeah, let's just drop this guy in right now. We get our token anyway. And now our opponent is incentivized to remove this one guy, or I start removing his guys. Exert allows Exert allows for mechanics that are generally powerful, but basically the delay is hurting me too. Kinda interesting to see it in a very aggressive deck. An argument could be made for me casting Excellence Binding at that point, but which guy I block? Converted mana cost fearless. Okay. So I definitely want another mana source. I can... I'm going to cast a Gustwalker. Gives me another token. I'm going to cast... No, I cannot cast Cartouche of Solidarity. I need to be able to trade is horrible though. Yeah. Our opponent is in a good position. If our opponent plays a 3rd Legion Lieutenant at this point, I really wish I played Excellence Binding. No, Martyr of Dusk. Not that bad. So let's see how our opponent attacks. Okay. We're gonna cast. Now we're gonna Excellence Binding the other Legion Lieutenant. Then we need to get a small token, so Cartouche of Solidarity comes in. So I'm just gonna do a normal attack. An argument could be made for me holding it back, but if our opponent is able to answer, well, if our opponent is able to answer one of our cards, he would probably answer the Angel of Condemnation anyway. So we're gonna take a little more chip damage. What we're aiming for right now is basically just clearing the board. We need to start clearing our opponent's threats. The scary thing right now, our opponent just played Forerunner of the Legion. He's now going to search for a creature. If this is just a slight upgrade of the stock deck, the first thing he's going to grab is Bishop of Binding. That means his Legion Lieutenant is going to be live again. And unless I draw a cast out, this is an interesting conundrum, but our opponent is still taking his time to make a decision also. Yep, as suspected, he grabs the Bishop of Binding. He is going to swing a bit with his team. I am not so incentivized to block yet. Actually, no, who am I kidding? I am incentivized to block. No. Let's try it out, not blocking. Because our opponent's taking a different stance. So actually, there's an interesting thing I can do. I'm going to play my land. I'm going to pass. I'm curious how the timing of this one works. Say our opponent plays Bishop of Binding. I can buy myself. I think I can buy myself a turn where the. Okay, so it will resolve. So he's targeting the Angel. Opponent's still deciding which. Yeah, this is interesting. Say I exert now. Yeah, let's try that. Hey! Hey, it worked! Just as I planned. Yeah, I miss the good old days when I had to worry about Faceless Butcher. If it was formatted like Baffling End, this trick would not have worked at all. In fact, it would have been much worse. As it is, I'm just taking chip damage right now. I could trade the Gustwalker. No, that's a bad idea. Gustwalker is right now the only thing holding everything back. Opponent might have enough vampires at this point, but I was able to dodge a bullet with that interaction. So it's things you learn about Angel Condemnation, but still it's a bit expensive. I'm surprised it worked. It's only because I'm playing a very aggressive deck, like a control deck right now. Okay. Our opponent might have removal. He might even have... But I have no choice. I am incentivized to block. There's no way around it. So our opponent is going to try to push all the way through. And he gained life. Okay. They're indestructible, but... There, I have a board. So now here comes the question. I'm definitely going to remove the Crested Sunmare. How do I deal with the 5/5 horse? Do I just keep taking damage and hopefully clear out the rest? We'll see. The decision-making tree here is quite difficult. It's quite... Okay. So I won't be able to trade profit. So I'm incentivized to super chump. Our opponent's incentivized to attack with everything. You're holding it back? Okay, hold on. So, let's see, I'm going to... I have to get rid of the token at this point. Technically, I'm still playing a losing game. And Resolute Survivors is not going to do it. Well, let's see. Yeah, our opponent can hit for 3 in the air. It's good to... If he has another vampire, he hits for 4. I can gum up the ground. Hopefully get... Well, it's strange. I managed to get a long game out of this. And if I lose right now, I will have time for one more game. Okay, our opponent is not swinging all in. Okay, I take it back. He is going to swing all in. He knows I'm incentivized to block everything. And, yep. I have no real good blocks. I have to get rid of Forerunner. So... I can buy one more turn. Oh, wait, there. There, I bought my turn. Wait, I'm not gonna end the turn just yet. Or at least I'm not just gonna sweep it through, but... Right now, this is a case where... Okay, our opponent is probably... I don't think our opponent's just holding on to Gasser at this point. Definitely has a trick, but... Okay. So I bought some time. Right now, there are 4 creatures under the Angel Condemnation. By rights, our opponent should have been able to answer this. In fact, our opponent was hoping to answer it with Bishop of Binding. That one's a very neat trick. So, opponent has to start playing creep. Well, let's see. So that's it. I won't be able to remove it. And yep, this is quite bad. I'm gonna end the turn because I need if it's gonna be annoying, but if I draw cast out, I will just cast it on Desert's Hold. Okay, 6/6. Come on, land. So I'm not even going to block with this one. I can't block anyway. Man, that was game. I was able to draw some gas, but eventually I could not keep it. Yep. 3 games and I'm now dropping even more in ranking. I'm actually gonna you know what? Let's just play one more game. If I hit 2 wins and 2 losses, so be it. The Boros deck is supposed to be fast. Let's see. We can play our Gust Walker. We just need a red source. I can cycle cast out. Right now, opponent's deciding on his mulligan, so we're definitely going first. I'll decide on the cycle depending on what our opponent plays. I'm not gonna cycle the cast out now. So I'm just gonna cast the Honored Crop Captain. Play Shafet Dunes, cast the other Honored Crop Captain. Opponent probably has a 2-drop at this point. Yep, he's looking at his deck. Definitely has a 2-drop. Ooh. Turns out he is digging. Unfortunately, I have no way of removing the Nightcaller, so we will see the Needletooth Raptor. It's gonna be a painful trade. What will happen is, when he does cast it on his turn, I can cast it out. So let's just drop the other one. So right now, we know our opponent's gonna cast Needletooth Raptor. So I don't want to use cast out this soon, but I might not have a choice. Also, we can come in from behind with the Trial Solidarity. Ooh! No, what we're gonna do now is cast Trial Solidarity. We'll get the Vigilance so we can stave off the Siege Horn. So 5-10. So we're hitting for 12. Opponent's definitely gonna go for the needle tooth raptor next turn. I'm happy to trade. So at least with this information, we know not to cycle cast out. Actually, an argument can be made. Some people say if you have nothing to do, just cycle immediately. But sometimes, well, it's a good call if it's a, let me say this, if your deck is well tuned, but if you're playing a stock deck, that might not be the best choice. So what we're gonna do now is, our opponent could have Forerunner. Yeah, let's just remove the needle tooth raptor before it becomes a problem. Okay, Shafet Dunes. Our opponent is incentivized to block, so if he's gonna play one of the scary 5-drops. Actually, if he plays a scary 5-drop, we win. We have Crop Crasher. Let's see. Can't be countered. Doesn't mean much. Now first we have to exert. Then we have to attack as normal. I can't just use the regular. And we get our second win. And that one only took just a few minutes. Well, I'm tempting fate. Let's play one more game. This is going to be very painful to upload. I just realized that it takes my internet less than 2 hours to upload a 1-hour video. So why am I punishing myself? But at least I have something to do with. Okay, I learned my lesson. I cannot keep this hand. 3 red sources, but all my early plays are white. Sure, I have Crop Crasher, but if I don't draw a white source anytime soon, I'm in real trouble. This second hand that we have is much better. We have a little of each of our sources, and we have early plays. And we don't even need the mountain on top, so our opponent mulliganed also, so this is the race I do not want. Let's see what our opponent has. Yep, it's a stream for now it looks like a streamlined token deck. No, I have to play Gust Wait, you know what? Yeah, that's not the Avenger. I have to play Gust Walker because I need to start staving off the offense. Next turn I can. Okay, this is a token strategy. So what do we do now? Okay, so that's my schedule. I can play Honored Crop Captain. I'm going to go in with the cartouche because I rush. And I am going to exert the Gust Walker. Sure, I'll be held back, but right now our opponent doesn't have much in the way of offense. So let's see. I really want to hold back for Lightning Strike. Let's see, right now what our opponent... If I attack with Honored Crop Captain... No. Let's play Oketra's Avenger. If I play the Honored Crop Captain, it's only gonna trade with 1, so that's a no-go. And if you... Ooh. So what did he put in the graveyard? Lands. He's okay, he's getting these flooded. We could use another source actually, so okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to swing at everything and just hold the lightning strike in reserve. Oketra's Avenger. Yeah. No, don't see any reason to exert. This is a case where I actually want him to block. He's deciding. He's pretty much incentivized to block. He has a lot of mana. He can just embalm his creatures back. Now, if he has a pump spell, I would really be boned. But as it is, it's turning out pretty well. And our opponent concedes. I think based on what he was drawing and what he discarded, our opponent was land heavy. And that match took just 4 minutes. You know what? One more match. So overall, this is match number 6 in 1 hour. In comparison, when I played the Azorius Ascension deck, that was 3 matches in 1 hour. You can already tell that there's a gameplay difference between these decks. So right now, Onus is on our opponent. I actually don't mind. No, I'm not gonna jinx myself by saying I don't mind losing at this point. No. This is my favorite deck color combination. This is the one. If there's one deck I want to win with, it's this one. Now we have an early play. We could use one more land. But we have the combination of Dauntless Aven and an exert creature. Let's keep this. And if our opponent turns out to be quite aggro, starting to look the case, and well, I guess I jinxed myself. If for those who are listening and who haven't noticed, I kept a 2-lander, and have one more turn to draw a 3rd land. Okay. At this point, I am priced in to cast Lightning Strike. I could wait for him to drop another enchantment, but that is so highly unlikely. You know what? I'm gonna just end my turn. Let's see. He might actually do that. That's for those. Okay. Let's resolve this first because I can still remove it anyway. Now here comes the question. Do I take out the... Because the Benelish Marshal himself is just a flat 3/3. I'm gonna go for the 2/1. This probably is a bad decision. But the presence of Benelish Marshal suggests that this is... that I am fighting against a monocolored deck. So I am priced into play Resolute Survivors. So our opponent is priced into play more creatures. Yeah, first strike. He's probably gonna just keep swinging with this. Let's see, we have 3 mana right now. We're gonna be in the back pedal, but I don't have much better play. If our opponent has the pump spell, sometimes it's good to call a bluff. If our opponent has the pump spell, we have to let it through. Okay, so I'm actually not incentivized to play a creature down. I'm only gonna get hit by 3. At least with Rallying Roar, I have a chance to... Actually, here's an interesting thing I can do. I'm going to attack. Exert. So at least I get some bet. See what our opponent... A smart opponent would not block. Actually, no. Same logic. He's incentivized to do the same thing too. The opponent has 3/3 tokens for days. I really could use another mana. But even then, I am more incentivized to play Honored Crop Captain. So, okay. I would just use up. Okay. I need him to think that I don't have anything. So, gonna play the Honored Crop Captain. I'm going to play the Cartouche of Solidarity. I'm gonna play it on the 4th. I'm gonna play it on the Resolute Survivors because at least that's enough toughness to make it harder to remove. And I'm not going to attack at this point. Our opponent doesn't know we have another Rallying Roar. Yeah, that was my greatest fear. Now our opponent is gonna just cash in with the tokens. Oh wait! Oh. For a moment I was excited that our opponent was actually going to attack with the Benelish Marshal. Ah, shucks. We have a cast out, but we definitely cannot cycle it. We really need it. So we're gonna play our Dauntless. We're gonna play our Dauntless Aven. We have a cushion of force. We can take one attack, then we have to play the cast out. If we don't draw another land, it really is game over. I could buy myself one turn, but it's really gonna be tough. So, Dauntless Bodyguard is protecting the Angel of Sanctions. It won't protect against a cast out. You know what? I'm not gonna block yet. So, moment of truth, we get our 4th land. We get our cast out. And the worst thing that could happen now is if our opponent actually has a cast out to cast out our cast out. Okay, we actually get a free attack since we can untap the Dauntless Aven. What will happen is we'll end up trading. We'll end up trading. I'll be left with a 3/3. So we bought ourselves a little time. And we can now play the Angel of Condemnation. Our opponent is incentivized to go to attack in at this point. No! Excellence Binding. He's going to get rid of our cast out. It's gonna take away our 1 blocker. Yeah, I figured that was gonna happen. And this is how we lose. Well, at least it was at least it was quite quick. And we did get 3 wins out of this. So now that I think of it, yeah. In hindsight, removing the Benelish Marshal was more important. That damage added up. But we got our 3 wins. We got... Actually, this is the best we've done. So... some things to think of, and that's it for today's episode. We actually had our best run so far, but I actually think we could do better. But I'm still quite happy. 3 wins, 3 losses, and we actually got some good information on how to tweak this deck. So it's a bit late, so the post-mortem might come much later, but anyway, thank you very much for watching this episode. If you enjoyed this, I hope you Like and subscribe to like this video, subscribe to this channel. Please let me know how to make improvements. A friend of mine just told me that I need to do some tweaking over my timing. It's a bit of a strange thing when I have to do when I'm using just what little free time I have to make videos, and I'm only taking advantage of the fact that I have time to play the game. But we'll see how I can tweak this up. The most likely thing I'll be changing is the format of the pre-mortem and post-mortem. But anyway, thank you very much for joining us, and hope to see you guys again next time.